بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمد ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد ونبي سعيد الخدري رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم رأى في أصحابه تأخرا فقال لهم تقدموا فأتموا بي وليأتم بكم من بعدكم لا يزال قوم يتأخرون حتى يؤخرهم الله رواه Muslim. This hadith, we began the discussion yesterday. One very important principle Allah's Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam alludes to in this hadith, in the sense that Islam advocates not just the discharge of Allah's command, but there should be shauq, inclination. We should constantly be driving ourselves. Don't become complacent. فَاسْتَبِقُوا الْخَيْرَاتِ سَابِقُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ وَجَنَّةٍ سَارِعُوا. Allah Ta'ala tells us many places in the Quran, outdo one another, run. Utlubul jannata juhdakum. Seek Allah's jannat with everything that you have. As I mentioned, unfortunately, when it comes to dunya, this is when we are always striving to excel, exceed, outdo ourselves, earn more than we can spend also. But in deen, a lot of us, we reach this level of complacency. I made my salah. Did you make your salah in the first saf? Did you come early to the masjid? I read my Quran. How much Quran did you read? The issue is push yourself to strive forward. And as I mentioned, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam alluded to one principle, and a grave warning is given in this hadith, which we will discuss shortly. Abu Sa'id Khudri radiyallahu anh narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam observed amongst some of the Sahaba an attitude of ta'akhur. Ta'akhur, in other words, delay. They were not pushing themselves forward. So he said to them, taqaddamu, go ahead. Taqaddamu. In other words, come forward, push yourself forward. A lot of times we get upset when a person is giving bayan, tells brothers, come forward. And we feel that it's fine, the voice is reaching me where I am. We learn from this hadith directly. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to the Sahaba, taqaddamu, come forward. Don't sit back. And fa'tammu bi, come as close as possible to me and follow me. Take cue from my example. وَلْيَأْتَمَّ بِكُمْ مَنْ بَعْدَكُمْ. Why? Because those who come after you are going to follow you. So what precedent you set is going to have an effect on those who come after you. In a daily sense, person comes early to the masjid, he comes and fills the first saf, fills the front saf. The person that comes later is not going to sit in the back, he's also going to come front. If the person who comes early sits right in the back, then more likely than not, whoever comes afterwards will sit even more back. So, beautifully, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is saying, those that come after you will follow your cue. So you come forward, so that they also come forward. As I mentioned yesterday, this hadith, many of the sharihin, the commentators say it refers to talabatul ilm. And here also, very large, very great complacency has entered us. This desire every day to learn something new, to learn. Sit in the halqa of ta'aleem, sit with the kitab, sit with the ulama, acquire the knowledge of deen. This to a large extent has come out of us. We feel once you are old or reach adulthood, this absolves you of the responsibility of learning. So the ulama say, many of the commentators say that this refers to that also. Refers to salah in the first saf, coming early to the masjid, coming to the front, and it also refers to talabatul ilm. And then this part of the hadith, وَلْيَأْتَمَّ بِكُمْ مَنْ بَعْدَكُمْ. Those who come after you will follow your cue. In other words, One, literally, those who come later will follow those who are in front, and every generation should learn from the preceding generation. In other words, what example are you setting? If you set the correct example, the next generation that comes will take your cue and they will follow the correct example. And then the grave warning. Allah's sunnat is mentioned in this hadith. Listen very, very carefully. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لا يزال قوم يتأخرون حتى يؤخرهم الله. He said, a nation will delay or become complacent or make ta'khir or hold back, and what will happen? Allah will cause them to be held back. Allah will cause them to be held back. In other words, Allah tells us in the Quran, وَيَهْدِي إِلَيْهِ مَن يُنِيبُ. Allah gives hidayat when we push ourselves. If there is inabat, if a person is turning towards Allah, Allah opens up his heart towards more and more good deeds. If our attitude is to become complacent and sit back, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, Allah will take away from us the tawfiq of amal. So it's a very, very grave warning that is found in this hadith. In fact, some of the Shari'in have mentioned, innamal insan, in the context of salah in the first saf, they say, innal insan kullama ta'akhara عن الصف الأول أو الثاني أو الثالث ألقى الله في قلبه محبة التأخير في كل عمل صالح. He says every time a person stops driving himself, he stays away from the first saf, you'll find him in the second saf, or you'll find him in the third saf. And from this Sadaqa Rasulullah, Allah's Habib always spoke the truth. You'll notice the people that are in the first saf, it's not somebody new. It will always be the same people that are in the first saf. And you'll notice the people that are perennially late, those that are always in the last saf, it's not going to be, very rarely you'll see somebody from the first saf in the last saf. Generally in a masjid, once you get used to the musallis, you automatically work out, these people are going to be late, these people are going to be in the front. This is exactly what is meant in this hadith. That the one who is in the first saf, Allah keeps giving him tawfiq. And the one who is holding back, yu'akhirahumullah, Allah will make him be held back. That's why you'll notice once a person gets into the habit of coming late, he'll always be late. And those that are coming early, it's always the same ones that are in front. Because this is that principle that is mentioned. And coming back to what I was mentioning, the ulama say that person who is always delayed, in the first saf, or in the second saf, or in the third saf, they say this warning of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is so grave that Allah will put in his heart the love of being late. He'll work out beforehand. If salah is 6 o'clock, I'm only going to leave 6:05. You'll never find that person leaving at 10 to 6. Why? Because Allah has already put it into his heart. La yazalu qawmun yata'akhkharun hatta yu'akhirahumullah. A nation will get into the habit of being delayed so that Allah will perennially cause them to be delayed. So this is why we need to seriously examine ourselves. Where are we? Particularly in our daily salah. Because the first thing Allah is going to question us on the day of judgment is going to be this salah. If this is made, everything is made. So every aspect, what kind of wuzu we are making, whether we are making miswak, following the sunnahs, mustahabbat, etc., how salah, what type of salah we are making, how early we come to the masjid, etc. All those things we have to become very, very serious about. So I'm once again translating this hadith. Allah's Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam observed in some of the companions delay, holding back. So he said to them, move forward, come as close as possible to me and follow me, because those that come after you will follow you. And a nation will get into the habit, a nation will always be holding back, delaying until Allah will delay them. In other words, Allah will take away the tawfiq of driving themselves forward. Allah will make it beloved to them to always be delayed and held back. An Abi Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu قال كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يمسح مناكبنا في الصلاة ويقول استووا ولا تختلفوا فتختلف قلوبكم ليليني منكم أولو الأحلام والنهى ثم الذين يلونهم ثم الذين يلونهم. Abu Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was the Imam. In Masjid al-Nabawi, he was the Imam. He describes how Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam made imamat, particularly in relation to the straightening of the safs. He says that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would pass his hands over our shoulders in salah. Not just straighten the safs. As the Imam, he would walk up to the musallis, place his hand on their shoulders to make the saf straight. And he would say, straighten your rows. Straighten, istawu. We all the time in the Arab countries, we hear this, istawu. Istawu, the translation is, straighten your rows. In other words, make sure your safs are straight. وَلَا تَخْتَلِفُوا, and do not stand unevenly. Because what will happen? This is jaza min jinsil amal. Allah rewards you according to the action. And at times, the punishment is also according to the actions. From this we learn one principle. What is the punishment if our safs are not straight? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam clearly tells us there is a link. We don't understand it. It's beyond our logic. But we, sadaqa Rasulullah, we accept the truth of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That there is a direct link between the unity of the hearts and the straightening of the safs. If our safs will be straight in salah, Allah will unite the hearts also. If the safs are uneven and not straight, then فَتَخْتَلِفَ قُلُوبُكُمْ, your hearts also will become disunited. So today we see this. There's so much of disunity, so much of confrontation, so much of mutual hatred, etc. One of the causes of this possibly is that the safs in salah are not straight. So coming back to this, Abu Mas'ud says that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would pass his hands over our shoulders in salah, and he would say to us that straighten your rows and do not stand unevenly, or else Allah will cause your hearts to become disunited. And then inshallah we'll continue. Time. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi.